S.H.Figuarts Dragon Ball Super Superhero Orange Piccolo was released on July 25th as a Premium Bandai web exclusive and retails for 9,000 yen or $80 US. I pre-ordered my copy from Premium Bandai Japan, but if you pre-ordered through Premium Bandai US, Orange Piccolo will arrive a month later in late September. Alright, let's take a look at this big bad hunk of orange goodness. I'm not a fan of the naming, but I do love this new transformation, and I guess you can say that this is Piccolo's first proper transformation, since Potential Unleashed and Super Namekian were more states and fusions. Anyway, the first thing you are going to notice when you get this guy in hand, even without opening it from the box, is just how hefty Piccolo is. There is a lot of plastic here, a lot of quality plastic that is, because not only does this weigh in like a brick, but it also feels really good in hand, like quality import figure stuff. Similar to your Cooler, Second Form Frieza, and Broly's, like it should. He absolutely towers over Beast Gohan and his original form, and is about the same size as Broly. And Tamashii does their best with big, chunky figures, and Piccolo doesn't disappoint. I love the bulkiness of this guy with his broad chest bursting out of his soft plastic gi and huge, beefy arms that are a lot more mobile than they make out to be. Yes, the gi is the same soft plastic used with Beast Gohan, so yes, it does make the ab crunch a little harder to bend forward, but to be honest, and I'll show you a little later into the video, there really isn't too much of a difference with or without the overlaying gi. The good thing is that the lack of ab crunch is compensated with a ball joint at the waist, which is where most of the ab crunch will come from. Shoulders are the same design as Beast Gohan as well, so again, it does hinder the inner shoulder articulation just a bit, but most of the restriction is basically coming from how big his chest is. On the back of his gi, we get the mark nicely printed that represents a symbol of Namekian pride, consisting of a symbolic Ajisai tree in the middle that materializes into an orb shape connecting via a line to an outer circle that represents Shenron. The dark red lines and the lighter orange areas on his arms are also painted with some black detailing on the fingernails, and we do get some shading on his gi, around the shoulders and mainly on the lower half of the pants. Everything else is molded colored plastic, and again they've matched up the solid purple plastic from the lower half perfectly with the softer material used for the top half. Head sculpts are top notch, pupils are blood red with very clean black outlining around his eyes and panel detailing on his mouth and eyebrows. The antennae do have a little bit of flex to them, and they will come out like Demon King Piccolo, so do be careful when you handle them. You don't want to lose those tiny bits on your living room floor. Piccolo's face has never looked so chiseled, and we get 4 very Piccolo options from your regular neutral face, a smirk which goes perfectly posed up with a smirking Beast Gohan, and of course we get an angry, teeth grit expression, and a shouting head as well. Man, Piccolo has some really developed cheekbones. For quality control, Piccolo feels as premium as Tamashii can get. Flawless paintwork coupled with buttery smooth joints that are tight enough to hold up this hefty guy. No problems here, and again the plastic quality just feels solid with that matte finish tying it all together to make a premium feeling high-end collectible. As always, my prayers are with all of you that your copy is exactly the same, so fingers crossed. So just like Beast Gohan, I want to show you guys what Orange Piccolo looks like underneath the gi. Everything is fully sculpted and painted, but with Piccolo, it looks a lot more proportionate. The waist is still small, but it looks pretty good even without the gi. Unlike Gohan, which was way too small, obviously to make room for the articulation in that area. As I mentioned before, it really doesn't make too much of a difference in terms of ab crunch, even if you take off the gi. Most of the ab crunch comes from the waist ball joint, but I might have to see if I can actually mod it like the old 2.0 Goku molds to get that extra bit of crunch. Alright, let's take a look at Orange Piccolo's articulation. First up we have the head, and Orange Piccolo can look up pretty well. Right up there at cell max, and he can bury his head into his chest just as much as well. looking down on his opponent's side-to-side rotation. Excellent. And we do get some very good left and right tilt going on there. So again, just like Beast Gohan, Orange Piccolo does have the softer, rubbery gi overlay. So the shoulders, he does have butterfly joints, of course, but it's not the actual gi that's going to keep Piccolo from bringing his arms into his chest. It's the fact that he has a huge chest, and you can actually see that right there. So, I mean, you do get a little bit of restriction there, but it's mainly because of the sculpt of his torso that's restricting him from bringing his arms further in. The shoulders go out, the arms go out 90 degrees. We do have 360 rotation. Again, these shoulder gi pieces here are glued into the back, but they are the same softer rubbery plastic as well. We get an upper bicep swivel, double jointed elbows for those huge biceps, which is great. And again, as with all Piccolo figures, I love that they've sculpted in the joints there as well, the elbow joints there as well. We have swivels at the wrist, and of course hinges as well. So moving on to the torso articulation, I took a short, posted it on Instagram and on the channel, showing the articulation, the ab crunch without the gi, and to be honest, it really doesn't make too much of a difference. Even with the gi off, that's as much forward crunch as you're going to get. And most of that is with the actual ball joint at the waist, not at the actual mid-torso itself. So most of that crunch does come from the ball joint at the waist. But because we do have a ball joint at the waist, and we technically do have an upper and lower torso, you do get some really good, side-to-side swivels, side-to-side movement, side-to-side swivel and side-to-side tilts there at the mid-torso. So for the legs, Piccolo can kick out, let's just say that's 180 degrees. I mean, obviously it's a little bit under 180 degrees, but that's a really good outward kick. Forward front kick is about 90 degrees, and of course, because of the way that the butt there is sculpted, we're not going to get any backward leg movement. He does have an upper thigh cut, double knees, which work really well. He does have ankle swivel or boot swivel there. The feet go down, not too much, not too far forward either. We do get your standard toe hinge and some very decent ankle rocker or ankle tilt there. So for a big beefy guy, Orange Piccolo gets some pretty decent articulation. Again, the softer rubbery plastic gi is not as restrictive as you might think it is, and still, you can still get some great poses out of it and have a lot of fun. In addition to the devilishly handsome looking head sculpts, we get 3 sets of hands. Packed in are a set of fists, 2 open palm blast hands, and a pair of, I'm going to be calling them, grabbing hands. I would have loved some crossed arm options and a special beam cannon hand too, but I guess Orange Piccolo never performed that attack in this form, or not yet anyway. So I totally forgot about this, but we do get another piece of the puzzle. Yes, it's another Ultimate Gohan Build-A-Figure piece, And this time, it's in the form of a Kamehameha effect, which feels a little last minute, but I'll still take it anyway. It appears to be a blue version of the Super Saiyan 4 Goku 10 times Kamehameha effect with a really nice gradation effect on the beams. We also get a pair of Kamehameha hands with a peg for Gohan to attach the effect to. So for me, with the Dragon Ball Super superhero line, there's zero nostalgia there, which makes reviewing these figures a lot less biased. Sure, I love Piccolo and I really do enjoy this new transformation, but this is just a fantastic release, period. Yes, it lacks in accessories like most of the larger scale figures in the Dragon Ball line, but it does exactly what every other larger scale figure in this line does as well. And just like Second Form Frieza we got earlier this year, I honestly don't have any complaints with Orange Piccolo. Sure, the soft plastic overlaying gi is a little rigid, but it still poses extremely well and with ease. I know having smooth, moving, tight joints should be standard with every figure. Unfortunately, that's not the case, but I gotta praise where praise is deserved. Piccolo just feels like top quality stuff, and I'm hoping the soft plastic will hold up over time too, because this guy and Beast Gohan have got to be my top 5 Figuarts Dragon Ball figures this year. My hopes for the future are that Tamashii continue to give us accessories for Orange Piccolo if he continues to make an appearance in the manga and other media. Tamashii can throw them in with future superhero releases or even a dedicated Piccolo accessory pack. I would love a special beam cannon hand and effect to go along with Beast Gohan, and don't forget some crossed arms as well. I understand if superhero wasn't your cup of tea, but in terms of showing Piccolo the love he truly deserves, I'm down for anything Tamashii give us. Bring on more Namekians. Alright guys, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the review. Thumbs up and comments are always appreciated. We'll see you in a bit, and as always, yoroshiku!